Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Dr. Flo. I'm here with the big guy as usual, Matt Vi. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing absolutely positively fantastical.
Yeah, I love all those words.
Right.
Most of them are real.
Yep. Like 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. All right, that's a pretty good percentage, honestly.
For me, that's a great percentage.
You're in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
That's right.
That's for sure. So, Matt, crazy market right now.
Yep.
Right, things are shifting all over. Things are shifting all over the place, and
right.
We're talking to a lot of brokers, and some markets are telling us one thing, some markets are telling us a completely different, and we love that.
Yep.
Right, that's what's so cool about real estate, and it's ever changing, and
absolutely,
what makes it so much fun to have a podcast about it because it never gets old.
That's right.
So, Matt, tell us what we're talking about today, and why people should stick around.
We're going to talk about how diverse is your recruiting and your retention and your per person productivity.
Okay, I like it. Yep. So, Matt, before I know you're listening to me right here live,
right?
But let's say you weren't
in the studio.
You're right. Let's say you were listening on a device somewhere. You'd probably need to hit that follow button right now or that subscribe button, and go check out brokerpreneurpodcast.com just to see all the cool things that we have going on there.
I was an OG follower.
Yeah, you were the OG right back when it was like Prospect Boomerang.
Right.
Now it's just like
sexy real estate recruiting podcast.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. Sexy real estate recruiting podcast. That is right. That was diverse. So, tell us. I'm just going to let you lead us into it, right? And educate us.
Yeah, so there's a lot of conversation right now about diversity, right? You can't go to LinkedIn, you can't go to anywhere without there being a conversation about diversity.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes the diversity gets bogged down, and people look at it just from a cultural standpoint. That's the only diversity that they're talking about. Or some people, they only understand that or they believe that that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Diversity is extremely important in everything that you do, because if you're not embracing that, you're not growing, right? I mean, that's just the truth of it, right?
Yep,
absolutely. I think it was Mark Twain that said, the best way to end ignorance and racism is to travel. Okay.
Yeah.
And so whenever we talk about diversity, I don't mean just race, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I mean backgrounds, how people do business. I mean, of course, cultural fits into it. Of course, how people grew up fits into it. All those things matter, and all those things count, right? And all those things should be taken into account. But you also want to look at diversity in your recruiting as far as how people do their business.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I say how they do their business, okay, so if you're a longtime listener, you're like, wait a minute, Matt, you always say that people need to be authentic and they need to match your culture and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely, 100%. I'm not saying that's not the case. I believe that long before the podcast, and I'll believe that long after the podcast, if there ever is after the podcast.
Yeah.
So, but the truth is, values and integrity and all of those things, absolutely, those have to be congruent, right? Those have to match. But how someone does their business doesn't have to be a perfect match, right? You're smiling. You got the
Marshall's doing something to my foot down there.
He's tickling your foot.
My kids are in the studio, guys.
And it turns out they're foot tickling.
Yeah. You got a pen or something down there. So,
right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'm a numbers guy. I love metrics and that kind of thing. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing from a diversity of your metrics as well.
Yep.
So as much as how they do business, it's just as important to be diverse in the amount of business. Let's say that they do. Right. If you have if you have a brokerage and it's nothing but $100 million producers, man, that's going to be a dog eat dog world almost type culture that you have inside your office. If it's all brand new and no one does any deals,
right.
That's
a problem.
That's a tough one to keep open.
Right.
Just saying. Not saying that all brand new agents don't do deals, right? We know they do.
Right.
But it's just as important to have that diversity in your numbers and in your production as well. Across, because again, from a recruiting standpoint, it's really easy for an agent to maybe come in, do an office tour. Mm-hmm. And feel like, well, I don't only do $100 million deals. I only do $50 million deals.
Right.
and so I don't want to come here because that's all you got.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
think
And so
about.
and they might be at the top of where they're at.
Yeah.
And they come over and they're at the bottom of somewhere else. I mean, they're still super productive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there has to be some diversity in that. Absolutely. The KPIs and how they match. There has to be some diversity in that. There has to be some balance, we'll call it. In that.
Right.
But also, how they generate their business. Okay.
Yeah.
So if everybody's a listing agent and the market shifts, then immediately your production shifts, your volume shifts, your company dollar shifts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there has to be some diversity and there has to be some balance. Do some people get their business by getting things online, right?
Yeah.
Do other people just absolutely despise an online lead and they would never do that? There needs to be some diversity in that, not in the integrity of how they do their business. That needs to match.
Yeah.
Not in the values, not in the work ethic, not in their caring concern for the community that you have, or if you don't want to have a community the community that you do or don't have in your business. The bottom line is those things all need to match. That all needs to be authentic. That needs to be the same. Okay.
Yeah.
But how they get there needs to be diverse. Needs to be different. You can't have everybody in your office, everybody working in a 55 plus community, right? Okay, maybe you could in the villages. Right? The villages have 100,000 door fronts, right?
Yeah.
In Central Florida, that you could probably have nothing but 55 plus community. But you're still going to have people that walk in that say, "Hey, look, we're getting ready to move there. We want to sell our house. And what are you going to, our house that's not in this 55 community? Do you have anybody? No, we don't have anybody that sells.
Yeah, and it can be boring. It can get boring if you don't too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, right? Just from a sheer standpoint of wanting to go to work or wanting to do what you're doing, it could just get boring.
Right.
Right. And imagine Star Wars without Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Right. If it just turns on, it's like, it's peace in the galaxy.
Right.
See you later. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,
nothing was going on.
There was nothing going on. There was peace in the galaxy. And so diversity, is a great thing. Mm-hmm. It can solve monotony.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
If that's the way you feel every day. Hey guys, this episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast is brought to you by the Speculo Group. The Speculo Group is the turnkey solution for agent and brokerage lead generation. With a focus on generating the highest quality leads from platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and more, the Speculo Group is your one-stop shop to dominating your local market and beyond. Visit their website for more information at thespeculogroup.com.
Yeah, and so from a standpoint also of your training classes and your mastermind groups that you have and your office happy hours that you go to and all of that, when there's some diversity in that, it gives a lot more people the chance to see themselves in that environment.
Yeah.
If everyone is homogenous, right? That's the right word for that, right? If everyone is just homogenous and they're all the exact same.
Yes. 2050, and we're all wearing silver jumpsuits.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We're all the same height. We're all right. That is all that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. Other people are not going to feel comfortable in that, and not just because of how they look. Okay.
Yeah.
That when we talk about diversity, it's not just how you look. That should not be the part of it. Right. That is not what should be the barrier. It should be who doesn't fit that matches your values.
Yeah.
Who doesn't fit that matches your integrity, who doesn't fit that matches your hard work. And so if that's how you want to grade those things, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's your brokerage, grade it however you want to. But when we're talking about diversity, that's our conversation.
Yep.
So now when somebody sees things online and you're putting information out there, it's so difficult to clearly communicate your culture online. It's so difficult to
especially without video.
Absolutely. I would say it's impossible without video, right?
Yeah.
So it's so difficult to do that. And so if you have everything that looks the same, you don't have that diversity in that, other people are not going to see themselves being able to go there and succeed. Yep. If everyone is 25 years old, they might think that it's really cool if they're 25 or 30 years old.
Yeah.
Other people are going to watch it that are 55 years old, 54, whatever the average is of real estate agents. They're going to look at it, but they're not going to see themselves there. Right. Yeah. And so there has to be a collage of diversity and characteristics that are everything, not just about, not just about how people look, not just about the cultural backgrounds. You need to mix those things up so that a lot of people can feel comfortable there. The same thing goes for your customers and clients.
Yeah.
You want your customers and clients to feel comfortable working with the office, and the only way that's going to happen is if you clearly communicate a inclusive culture.
Yeah. I remember, when I first opened up my chiropractic office, and I was just trying to grow it, and I was like, okay, I gotta try all these different things, and I got invited to things here, and I got invited to things there, and I went to this one networking group that I was invited to, and it wasn't like, one of those, like, it wasn't like a paid networking group. It was just like, hey, a bunch of people, like a meetup.
Right.
It was back like when meetup.com was like a really big thing. That
right.
kind of thing. And, and I walk in and, I was younger. I was, 28, 29 years old, something like that. I was in good shape, and, everybody there had me by like 50 years.
Yeah.
And I remember just walking in and feeling like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I'm gonna stand out.
Right.
Something, and it turned out just fine. Obviously I went and I talked to everybody and made good friends and that kind of thing, made connections. I made the best out of it, of course. But it was just that initial walk through the door and feeling like, Am I in the right place?
Right. And a lot of people would walk in that door and close down.
Yeah.
A lot of people would walk in that door and walk back out.
Yeah.
A lot of people would walk in that door and just not be able to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Okay. They aren't comfortable with it, or more likely what I think happens most times is they don't have the social skill set for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have that, or they've exhausted their emotional and social skill set for the day. And when that happens, they're just like, I can't, right?
Yeah.
I just can't make the most of this.
I can't
right
be
now.
on all the time.
That's right. And so that's the kind of thing that you have to be careful about, because you don't know when you're going to hit that conversation with people.
Yeah.
Right. I've had some of the best conversations with people over the phone from a recruiting standpoint, and I'm always surprised whenever I meet them, because in my head I thought that they look and acted a certain way and their mannerisms would be a certain way, and whenever we sat down, that they would just understand and be a certain, because you can't help but that sticks in your head.
Yeah.
And then you sit down and I'm always so pleasantly surprised at how much better people are whenever you actually get face to face with them, which is another key thing of being diverse. You can't truly understand who it is that you're meeting and who it is that you're connecting with and the type of relationships that you're going to have with them if you don't connect with them face to face.
Yeah, and that diversity, you really have to think about it. If you're the broker, the owner, the manager, whatever, it is because you're the one hiring these people. It is a direct reflection.
Yes. Absolutely.
upon the leadership of the office.
Right. Absolutely. And how they'll deal with clients and everything.
Yeah.
Right. So you better tighten up if you haven't already.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, Matt, anything else before we put a little bow on it?
No, man. I think we're good. I know we've got a couple of things coming up that are we've got the Not So Secret Society, right?
Not So Secret Society. Every Friday. Every Friday at 12 o'clock, and it's absolutely free. It's just for all of our listeners and our clients, obviously, to come and just kind of mingle, network a little bit. We bring a topic. We don't necessarily teach on the topic, but we bring a topic, and we want everybody to just kind of say, here's my 2 cents on this.
Yep.
What's yours, and we can all just learn from each other and share strategies back and forth. So if that's something that you're interested in, obviously this comes out Friday. You want to come today,
right?
Well, this is the second one. This is coming on Monday. You want to come the next Friday,
right?
Then send me an email directly, ben@brokerpreneurpodcast.com. And I'll make sure that you get the invite, you get on the list, and we'll make sure that you're there every Friday. And it's absolutely free of charge. It's just a really cool group. So,
yep.
Well, guys, wherever you listen to this, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, hit that follow button. If you're watching us on the YouTubes, hey, what's up?
What up?
Yeah, you're welcome for the eye candy. Hit that red like button, hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside it to get notified every time we drop a new episode. Go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com right now and take a sneak peek at the Brokerpreneur Fast Track. It's super easy. It's right there on the homepage. Just click that button, take a sneak peek, and let us know what you think. We just think it's like the coolest thing we've ever created, and we want to make sure that no matter what phase or stage of the business that you're in, that you get to utilize all the cool stuff that we have. COVID.
Yep.
Matt, we do this podcast and everything else that we do in this crazy life for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
Well, it's for Jeff Farmer. Let me say this, and then we'll talk about that real quick.
Mr. Farmer, huh?
Mr. Farmer, yeah. So I got a good friend of mine that's his name's Jeff Farmer, and he says he's the arm candy for his wife.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
and so I call him the farm candy because his name is Jeff
Farmer. Yeah.
I call him the farm candy.
Yeah, so, farm candy is just like straw.
Right. It's not candy corn.
Yeah, but no, man, you gotta use all that to make candy corn. Farm candy is just sticking that little piece of grass or whatever, sweet grass,
right?
Or
and
just
you chops and
you just sit there and chew on it. You just chew on it. I don't know. I've never tried it, guys. Maybe it tastes good, maybe it doesn't.
Right. So we do all this for one reason and one reason only.
Yep. We just want to be part of your win.
Thanks, guys.